a moment. It takes a moment. Right. Why that person's face on a course on leadership? In particular, when you go back to the very first question I asked this evening, I mean, what do we need to do about what is considered this new leadership style? Go, Kavian. Kavian.
I
Why
think
that face?
I think because within the current climate that we're in, his leadership styles are very unorthodox, to be politically correct. So they go against the grain of previous presidents that were in his similar position, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, people were statesmen. This is not a statesman. I think diplomacy have and other forms of behavior have gone out of the window. Can I just see who the Trump supporters are on the group? Oh gosh, we've gone on a third page. Who are the Trump fans on the group? Yeah, I will put it out there right now that I'm not a fan of this individual whatsoever. Last year, students screamed at me and told me that I was brainwashed after I criticized her wonderful orange Cheeto. So you'll hear me say horrible things about him. Just remember, everyone has a right to an opinion, and my opinion is that he is not a good leader, and in fact, that there are so many questionable things around him. Okay, if we look at his leadership style, and I often say to myself, let's say that I can learn something from this individual. What can we learn from the orange giant in terms of leadership style? Or is it just learn what not to do? Are there things that we can learn from him? Let's try and find something positive. Please don't make this one-way communication. I need to see people chat back at me. Can we learn from him? Let's say that he is a flawed genius. What can we learn in those flaws? Or is it to learn not to do it a certain way? Kavian?
So just off the top of my head, I think he uses the crisis as like a strategic reset. So some people or some leaders just don't just manage crisis. I think they use them to reset the direction. And I think that's what he does. And then I think also he uses culture, culture matters as like a strategy sort of solution. So yeah, just off the top of my head, him being a businessman, and coming in with the entrepreneurial mindset, is very unorthodox to, I think, what the people want. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
and
perfect.
everything.
Yeah. Well, is he a good businessman, Nikita? Remember, he has gone bankrupt 6 or 7 times. I mean, he isn't a good businessman. He has been bankrupt multiple times and have bankrupted multiple businesses. There's this impression because certain people control the narrative in a certain way that he is a good businessman. But there's no evidence to that. Michaela, direct communication. Yeah, he's very good at talking to his base. Unfortunately, you can't always just look after your base. I think the reality is that there's a lot more to the world than looking after certain groups with parochial interests and who look like you, who share your interests, etc. Insofar as the crisis thing, Clavian, I think he's very good at creating crises. I'm not so He's not so good at managing the crises and the fallout of that. This is an interesting one, guys. The use of Chat GPT. Yesterday, I looked at an article and it was actually quite sad because it was top 40 jobs that were unskilled that would be replaced by AI. And the scary part was a management lecturer who was included in the top 40 jobs. So I don't know why the hell I did my PhD, because this is an unskilled job. Decisive even when and you're right, Luchle, decisive, but even when the decisiveness will result in a series of errors. So I should stop sharing AI stuff, because as an unskilled profession, I will be replaced by some sort of AI in the very near future. I'm annoyed that I spent bloody years doing my PhD. Anyone have a look at this article? Any comments on that article? Go for it, Luke. Any comments on that, bud?
It was quite interesting. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay, perfect. It was quite interesting just to see how AI almost emulates a person based, because I was reading how I forgot the gentleman's name, but how the lady here was speaking to basically an emulated version of a deceased man.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, it's just based off of his his previous work, his previous publications. It was weird how she, could have a conversation almost and get like a sound advice, if that makes sense. Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And you're talking to somebody who's dead, but obviously a leader that was respected in his day, and getting feedback from that person. So what the AI has done, it's embraced this individual in his entirety, and is giving feedback to you on your own strategies going forward. I mean, it is a wonderful, wonderful use of AI. And I think the reality when it comes to AI, the only thing that limits our use of AI is our own imaginations. Let me say that again. The only thing that limits our use of AI is our own imaginations. I wouldn't have stretched my imagination to this. I would never have thought that this is a way that you can use AI. I mean, it is very interesting. Guys, and then just also the need for leaders to adopt AI. And it's important for us to embrace AI in this course. So for me, you have to embrace AI. You have to use AI extensively. Please just hold on a second. I have no issue if you use AI, but the moment you take an assignment, shove it into an AI, have the AI generate the answer for you, and you simply copy the answer, then there's no purpose of you, there's no reason for you to be on this course. Because then we might as well sell you a certificate at the end of the day. So the moment you copy out of the AI, I have an issue with it. So at least I want you guys to do your research. And you can use AI to summarize articles, you can use it to summarize textbooks, but I want you to type your own assignments. You can take what you've typed and put it through an AI to improve the writing. That I have no issue with. But when you just take an assignment and you shove it into ChatGPT, I'm going to have a bit of an issue with that. Is that a fair rule for this class? We embrace AI, but we embrace it ethically. You do your own research, you do your own work. Yes, you can get the AIs to summarize your articles for you, but read the articles yourself and create your own answers. Because otherwise, we don't have a reason to be together on this course. Because then you might as well just get the AI to cheat you. And that to me is how I want us to approach this. So again, how we use AIs. I mean, it is insane how you have an astonishing return on investment from AI. I am in a very fortunate position that my oldest son works in artificial intelligence. I've got a range of ages. I have a 29-year-old, and I also have a 19-year-old. And my 29-year-old, he creates AIs in a specific industry. I'm not going to talk about always the industry, because a lot of what he does is top secret. but it's industry specific AI as well. He's a senior manager in the industry. And I have a 19-year-old at Tux who is studying artificial intelligence. So the general rule is, yeah, if you're going to keep breeding like I did, you'll have a 29-year-old and a 19-year-old alongside each other. This is also an interesting one, indicating to us where the world is heading, but also the need for leadership to embrace and rethink the way they do business. And it's that idea of critical leadership. Remember what I said a couple of minutes ago. Everything that we do here, I want you to question every single theory that we do. I want you to hold it up to the light. I want you to criticize it. I want you to find mistakes with it, because we cannot simply accept that the theories that we've been given in the past is going to explain leadership behaviors in the future as a consequence of what happens because of that individual. We have to question absolutely everything and criticize, even challenge me in terms of some of the stuff that I say. The last one is this, and it's just the idea of using crises to reinvent your businesses. And Kavian, you had commented about that. I think the one thing we see in terms of leadership is the need for resilience. And we'll talk about resilience and resilient leadership throughout the time we spend together. Any comments on this article? That crises create opportunities. In the Chinese language, in the Chinese alphabet, a crisis is depicted as both something negative, a threat, and an opportunity, because out of crises come life and become new opportunities. It's a wonderful way of looking at it. And certainly we can see here how leaders use crises. And I think the other reason I put this article in is because there are so many crises in the world today, and we need to understand how leaders have spent their time understanding crises, building resilience, and the need for resilience, an essential part of what we're doing. Any questions and comments about the articles that I had shared, other than the stuff that I've mentioned? Okay, let's have a glance at the slides. Did everyone get an opportunity to download the slides? Okay. What I actually also, just before we do that, I want to just quickly do this. Shucks. Just to show you where my stuff is on here. Has everyone got access to ARC? I only got access to ARC late on Fridays, so it was a little bit of a wobble the start of the semester. Everyone have access to ARC? Can I just see some thumbs up here? Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Just to go look at the ARC page very quickly, all my stuff is under content, and everything under there is under additional material. You'll see the full set of slides there. I'm assuming you've downloaded all those slides. Nosipo, your hand up, or is it just a legacy hand? Right. You'll see that I've chucked in a whole bunch of textbooks. It's just for additional reading. I unfortunately don't have this textbook, but you don't have to buy the textbook. There's enough information in the slides, and you can link it to what's here in those textbooks there. Okay, there are tons of textbooks that I've loaded there. The work schedule is this. I don't stick to it hard and fast. It's a set of guidelines. The ICE tasks, guys, I keep the ICE tasks as simple as possible. I just want to see that they're there. There are suggestions on the work schedule on when to complete the ICE tasks. I don't care. That's fine, Osipo. I don't care whether you do it at those days. Just make sure that when we get to the final submission date, and I will give you that submission date, that all these ICE tasks are done. Guys, these are marks for JAM. This is for Poncella. These are marks for JAM. So please make sure that you get them out of your way. All I need to see is an attempt on the ICE task, and I will give you full marks. Please don't lose this 10%. Mohammed, no textbook is ever a must, okay? Um, you can get it, but there's so many other alternatives with the slides and by looking just simply at the headings. This is an honors level program, guys. We can't limit you to the textbook. Yes, it's great to have the textbook, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. I'm supposed to tell you you're supposed to buy the textbook. I wouldn't buy the textbook if you haven't bought it. But if you have, it is nice having. It's a nice consolidation of leadership discussions. Okay. Don't know if that answered your question, Mohammed. Right. Let's have a glance. Everyone have access to ARC. Please make sure you get your hands on the slides at least. Please make sure you get your hands on the slides. Let's have a glance at the slides here. Without further ado, let's have a glance at this. Have the assignments been loaded on the portal, guys? Have the assignments been loaded on the portal? Okay, we'll look at the first assignment next week. Please remind me so that we can just see where the answers are and what we expect in terms of the answers. We'll do that next week. Just somebody needs to remind me because I will forget. Right, so let's have a glance at tonight's slides. So learning unit 1, nothing dramatic here. Please see the objective in terms of the first one. It is really just to define the leadership construct. Again, bearing in mind that we need to question everything, that the world has changed so much, and that what we accept as behaviors from leaders have also changed. Oh, crumbs. Oh, UNESCO. I don't know why they did that. Hopefully by next week, I set that. Sorry, guys. I set the exams and the assignment for this course, as well as oh, my goodness me, the innovation one at the end of the year. Okay. So I have a pretty good idea, and I did that ages ago. So we're going to look at those elements within leadership, the idea of power and influence and how people influence and the importance of power and why people can't always lead without power, the different forms of power, and also just this new way of using power where it's almost where it borders on the level of being a thug. So I've included those two there. Comment about Elon Musk as a leader. Obviously, that bromance is now over. I think we know that that bromance has ended. Comment on Elon Musk as a leader. What is his preferred leadership style? I think the bromance initially was there because of the fact that they are both autocrats, that they both like the idea of being large and in charge. Elon Musk is a very, very difficult person to work for. He has no issue in firing you. He has no issue in making sure that he gets his pound of flesh from individuals. He can border on the edge of a bully. But having said that, it's worked for him. I mean, he's worth $750 billion. He will be the first person ever He is very hands-on, Lush, there, 100%. He's very, very hands-on. And I think sometimes so hands-on that he interferes with people getting work done. But, the 750 billion might suggest that he knows what he's doing. So when we think of leadership, it's this idea of taking, I think it's often for his own benefit. I mean, the way he took a chainsaw to government officials in America, and I know that there was a purpose behind it, and it was about efficiency, and I think that was just nasty. It's this complete lack of care that I'm rendering people unemployed in a time where there are high levels of unemployment. Sorry, we've got a new cat, and my old cat is now going to fight with her. Sorry for that. My apologies. So, the idea of leadership is influencing people so that they can achieve certain goals. In the goals for America, it's Make America Great Again. It spawned an entire movement. In terms of Elon Musk, I think it's technological lead in almost every facet of the world. I think Elon Musk is a far better business person than Donald Trump could ever dream to be. And I think we have to accept that. So leadership is influence. I'm going to skip across that. So I think the first thing, and this is often an exam question, and certainly it may appear as an assignment question as well. So be ready to answer this as both. Generally, an exam question will be based on this. I think we can look at leadership from 4 different perspectives. The first one, leadership as a person. Leadership as a person is often based on those characteristics, those traits that individuals display. So, leadership as a person often will remind us of the kind of 1920s style leadership, where the idea is that you're a male and you're taller and you're better looking and you're better at communicating. It is a very traditional approach that the characteristics that you have will determine whether you are a leader. The second one, in terms of leadership as a person, it also suggests that you are born a leader. You're not made a leader. Whereas leadership as a process says you can take individuals and you can teach them the process around leadership. So here we can argue that we can make someone into a leader. Leadership as position comes from the authority that you hold based on how high you are up on the organizational hierarchy. And then leadership as results, obviously, here we look at what you achieve to determine whether you are, in fact, a leader or a successful leader. There are lots of deficiencies with each of those. So let's look at leadership as a person. Right? It talks about certain traits. When we think of leadership as a person, what springs to mind for me is this. Ah, my goodness me. I've taken my glasses off now. I think I can actually see. When I think of leadership as a person, the kind of person we think of is this guy here, Prince Charming. I don't know why this is so out of focus on my screen today. Let's find if that's going to be in focus. Who's seen Shrek? Oh my gosh, I can't open a recording. Who has seen Shrek previously? The documentary Shrek. It's this idea of Prince Charming, the prince on a horse rushing off to save Fiona from the dragon. I mean, good looking, flowing hair, tall, talks beautiful. I'm also pretty sure that he smells pretty nice as well. Who has not seen Shrek? Who has not seen Shrek? Teal, Your hand is up. Did you want to say something, Teal?
Sorry, that was a mistake.
Don't worry. That's a cool name, though.
Thank you.
Who has not seen Shrek? Please tell me that everyone here has seen Shrek. Who knew that Shrek was a documentary? It's a joke. It's not a documentary. I'm not that deluded. But when I think of leadership as a characteristic thing, that's the kind of person that springs to mind. I love Shrek. It's in my top 10 favorites. I mean, the original Shrek. I'm not so keen on 2, 3, and 4. Oh, you live by Shrek. Chris, I love that as well. I don't know what part of Shrek. There are too many questions there, Chris. Some of them might have to be addressed by your therapist. Very cool. So the kind of traits that we see, the kind of characteristics that set people apart. Let me just see, because this. Okay, sorry. I thought it was a student. The drive, the kind of things that go hand in hand, this need for achievement, this need to leave an impression on the world, high levels of motivation, high levels of ambition, serious levels of energy, tenacity. When the going gets tough, the tough get going, and then lots of initiative. Who is described by those traits there? Who is, in a nutshell, that kind of person? Who here is very ambitious? Who has high levels of ambition? Nothing to be shy about. Anyone here very ambitious? Amara, we know that, obviously. Amara didn't need to put up a hand on you that beforehand. Who, Kavian, absolutely fine. Michaela, very cool. Lots of hands going up. Yeah, nothing wrong with being ambitious. I mean, I think it's important. Shelby as well. Who has high levels of motivation? Very energetic, is annoying so much energy. Very, very cool. Very cool. And then obviously, who is tenacious? Doesn't give up. When things get tough, they get tougher. Tenacious, very, very nice, very nice. So you can see how we almost live by this definition of leadership, because these are the traits that will define what makes a person a leader. And then initiative. Who likes to start things, take the initiative, be in front when it comes to tasks? We can see why we use this as a definition still. And this is as old as the mountains. This is from the 1920s. And then also part of the kind of things we see from a traits perspective. People here want to be large and in charge. They have this desire to lead. They seek power so that they can achieve goals through other people. And then also the idea that, the power is there to achieve a certain thing. Who has ambitions in terms of climbing the corporate ladder? Want to be a CEO, want to be a director, want to be in charge of people? Who has those ambitions, Shannon? There's nothing wrong with that. Who is already at that level? Kavian, you're an Indian boy. You don't have a choice. You have to be ambitious. Otherwise, your parents are going to disown you. Sorry, guys. Just report me for that comment. Okay. Who is already at a quite senior level? I just realized I'm being recorded here. I'm just going to have to edit that out, because that's properly going to cause me a headache later. Don't worry, you'll get used to it, guys. I wish there was a filter with what comes out of my mouth. Okay. Who is at a senior level in an organization already? Amara, what is your title? Chris, what is your title? Mohammed, what is your title? Anyone at a director level? Fabian already? No, you